All right, guys, Bitcoin on a little bit of a dumperoo, as we like to call it, and altcoins taking a bit of a beating. We talked about this yesterday, just talking about everything's too bullish. Everybody's talking about a $50,000 Bitcoin, and Bitcoin had not had a major correction in a long time. So now we've lost all of those New Year's gains, as you could call it. Some of these altcoins down 10%, Solana back under $100. XRP 57 cents, Cardano 55 cents. Great buying opportunity if you're looking to buy. Like you said, you guys can watch my videos. We've been preparing for this dump for the last couple weeks. It was pretty obvious it was coming. Here's the articles. Well, first of all, we're going to talk about Jim Cramer. You know, a lot of people were saying, you know, it's the Jim Cramer metric. Every time Jim Cramer gets bullish on Bitcoin, it dumps. When he's bearish, we pump. That's true, and people need to understand it's not so much Jim Cramer, it's what Jim Cramer represents. You have to understand there's certain tiers of people buying Bitcoin, and at the bottom of that tier are the people who are watching NBC, Fox, CNBC, the people who are watching Jim Cramer, the people who are watching The Tonight Show with, Stephen Colbert, the people who are watching The View. That's the bottom of the barrel, unfortunately, of retail money. You're looking like 70, 80, 90 IQ, maybe at the top of that line, 90 IQ. Now, Jim Cramer's a very smart guy, but he just sees a way to make money appealing to these people. So here's Jim Cramer a year ago when everybody who was smart was buying Bitcoin. He's telling you, of course, to get out of Bitcoin, it's a big scam. This is when Bitcoin was $15,000 yesterday. He's telling all the dumb money to get out, which was the worst possible time. That's when on this channel, we were telling you to buy. And you really can't make this stuff up. And, you know, here he is a year ago.
I do think you're an idiot, okay? I did not go to college to get stupid. These people who own these things should not own them. They shouldn't own them.
Yeah, so he's just shitting on Bitcoin a year ago when we were just going in. Look, Solana's $11. Well, I guess that was the time to buy Solana. Ethereum, 1,200. I mean, you can go down the list. Everything was a buy. Cardano was 23 cents. And now here's Jim Cramer just yesterday talking about how Bitcoin's unstoppable.
It will be an ETF, but I do think that the people who are in it for that are going to use that as a chance to sell. But this thing is, you can't kill it. And the late Charlie Munger, who was so brilliant on so many things, was blind to this. Now you can say, wait a second, maybe it's all going to come
Jamie
unravel.
Dimon has not spared any negative words.
No, but look, I mean, it's a reality and it's a technological marvel.
So now Bitcoin's a technological marvel. This was, I think, 2 days ago. Bitcoin was at 45,701, just coming off that 46,000. So, like I said, guys, that's kind of what it comes down to. You know, it's not like a Jim Cramer thing. He kind of knows what he's doing. But so if you watch, say, Jimmy Kimmel, The View with Joy Behar, or any of your late night shows now, you have to understand that they are appealing to the dumbest of the dumbest of the dumb. And once you get to the dumbest of the dumbest of the dumb, there's nobody beneath them. So once Jim Cramer is telling you, buy Bitcoin, it's great, Bitcoin's pumping to 46,000, there's nobody after them to buy. The institutionals already bought to get Bitcoin up to over $40,000 because of the ETF. So that dumb retail money came in at like 43,000 because Jim Cramer was telling you it was a great time to buy. They bought. There's nobody after them. Once the 80 IQ, because the 50 IQ and the 60 IQ, they're in the institutions. Or he's the guy cleaning the toilets at the Walmart. He doesn't even know how to buy Bitcoin. But the 80 IQ, 90 IQ, they can muster up the strength and the brain power to create a Coinbase account. They hear Jim Cramer, they buy it, and then basically people say, oh my God, there's nobody else to buy now, and it's time to take some profits. So that's what's going on with that. Jim Cramer, I do believe, knows exactly what he's doing. He's just a puppet put in place to put on a show for the dumbest of the dumb money. Now, I'm not saying if you watch CNBC, you're dumb or anything like that. I'm just saying you have to realize by the time CNBC has talked about it, it's way too late. Okay? Nobody has ever watched CNBC and they're like, And somebody's like, hey man, how did you retire at 45 years old? And he says, well, I was watching Jim Cramer. I can tell you, I watched Jim Cramer. He talked about a few stocks. I bought them, and now I'm a multi-millionaire. Never happened once in life. CNBC, Jim Cramer is for the dumb money. They talk about the money has already been made by the time they talk about it. By the time Jim Cramer's telling you to buy Bitcoin, that's when it's already had its first leg up. When Jim Cramer's telling you to buy Apple stock, it's already at its high. And of course, for the last year, when Bitcoin was at $15,000, $20,000, they weren't even talking about Bitcoin. There was no Jim Cramer coming on 6 months ago saying, hey, Bitcoin's at $20,000. We got the halving in a year. It's time to buy Bitcoin because it's probably going to double and go up 100%. And some of these altcoins are going to go up 1,000% in the next year. I'm buying. Not a word from these guys. Not a word from anybody. Occasionally a CNBC show would talk about Bitcoin just saying how shitty it was. Now Bitcoin's at all-time high. Bitcoin reached the all-time high for 2024, 2023. It hasn't reached $45,000 since 2021 when we were in the last bull market. And now Jim Cramer is telling the dummies to buy it. That is a top. That's how people know it's a top. It's a market indicator. And again, it's not so much Jim Cramer. He knows exactly what he's doing. You have to understand who's watching these shows. And it's the 80, 90 IQs. And they're the ones who are the last to buy. Just like they're going to all come back in. All the 80 and 90 IQs who bought at $45,000 Bitcoin. Now that Bitcoin's 42, they're all selling. But they will be back. When Bitcoin hits all-time high, Jim Cramer's going to be back. And he's going to say, Bitcoin hit all-time high. It's going to 100,000. Then the 80, 90 IQs, 70 IQs, they come running back in. And that's your cue. Oh my God, Jim Cramer's talking about it. We got a big retail pump. Now it's time to get out. So that's what's going on in the market. It's very predictable, and that's why I've been making a video for the last last week. I've been saying we're probably due for a dump. I'm looking to buy cheap coins. I haven't bought anything yet, but I'm definitely looking. And there's also there's a CME gap. I found this on Ben Armstrong's channel. There is a CME gap at 39,600. Now, we don't always hit the CME gaps, but the closer we get to that CME gap, the better. I would like to see it. Honestly, I would love to see Bitcoin hit this CME gap because that would just reset everything. You're probably going to get Cardano for 45 cents if that happens. Solana back down to maybe $70. Guys, I'll tell you guys, I shit on Solana all fucking day, all fucking night. Solana goes into the $70 range. I'll probably pick some up. I probably will because I don't think the whales are going to dump Solana until it hits $150. I've been talking about this for the last, or at least the venture capitals. And I've been talking about that for the last, the last 6 months or whatever. So this is an opportunity to buy. It's not an opportunity to be scared. A lot of people are talking about that the Bitcoin ETF might not happen. A lot of people are trying to blame that. Here's an article. The Bitcoin ETF denial report did not cause the 8% price. Because I think yesterday an article came out saying that the Bitcoin ETF might be delayed. I don't know, guys. I think all this stuff is all priced in now. I don't even think this ETF matters. Rand Nooner, occasionally Rand Nooner will say something I agree with. He said, the Bitcoin ETF trade's kind of like an over trade. That's like yesterday's news now, this ETF. If the government comes out and they delay this ETF, we're definitely going to see some bearishness. But the major traders right now, they're looking for the next trade, and the next trade, I believe, is the Bitcoin halving. So what are we in January, so February, March? The Bitcoin halving's in 3 months. So for the next 3 months, we might just have a $38,000 to $43,000 Bitcoin, and your altcoins just struggling. That's a possibility, and guys, I kind of hope that happens because I'm looking to buy cheap. I got money on the side, and these are all gifts. These dumps are gifts, and we were so due. I was just every time I was looking at the market over the last couple weeks, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here? We're due for a dump. We're due for, and this dump doesn't even seem that bad. I mean, I know it sucks to say Bitcoin going under $40,000. It might not happen, but that's what I would like to see for a reset. But and if that happens, you're going to get some of these altcoins for absolute insane prices. But with everything happening, guys, we're still seeing good stuff happening for Cardano, even though it dumped. Cardano to 70 cents. First mega on-chain validation spotted. Cardano active addresses have spiked in readiness for crucial price boost. Cardano has achieved a unique on-chain validation as showcased by the impressive surge in daily active addresses, according to data from crypto analyst platform Into the Block. This Cardano metric has jumped by 12% to 49,000 over the last 24 hours. Look, the point is, guys, no matter what happens with these dumps, Cardano goes down to 35 cents, 45 cents, 50 cents. Theta goes back under $1, whatever. It doesn't matter because the fundamentals are strong with these projects and you know they're going to pump super, super hard. The one thing you can even look at, Bitcoin went down to $42,000. A lot of these coins are up a little bit now. Solana, I believe, went down to almost $92. Now it's back almost to 100. Just think if you got into Solana at 98. Same with Cardano. Cardano went down to 50 cents. Now it's back up to 55. The pumps are strong if you can tolerate this volatility. So guys, that's pretty much it. We'll see what happens today. I will give credit to Ben Armstrong because he was calling for this CME gap Bitcoin dump over the last couple of weeks. Now, of course, I was calling for it too, but not because of the CME gap. I just kind of figured we were due for a correction. But as much as we make fun of Ben Armstrong, he does have a pretty good gauge on the market, at least for knowing when we're going to go bullish, when we're going to go bearish. And a lot of people weren't talking about this CME gap. Now, for us to hit that CME gap, we have to drop another $2,500 Bitcoin, another $2,000 in Bitcoin. That might not happen. But the good news is, with this dump, a lot of longs were liquidated. So we kind of flushed out the system. We're ready to regroup. We're ready to look for cheaper prices, but that leverage has at least been reset to a point. And if we get that Bitcoin ETF approval tomorrow, we'll probably go back up to $44,000 or $45,000 Bitcoin. And if we don't, I guess we'll hit that CME gap. Guys, I can tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for lower prices. There's some coins I wish I had bought. I wish, Solana is one that, as much as I hate Solana, if I could get it for like in the $70 range, maybe even low 80s, I might pick some up. Thinking about buying some more XRP, thinking about buying some more Vulcan Forge, which I know took a big hit. There's some other gaming coins that I'd like to be a part of. There's some meme coins that had dumped really, really hard over this last 24-hour dump. There are coins out there, and I know as much as it sucks to be in a short-term dump where everything's bearish, everybody's miserable, I know that's going to benefit me when I cash out this time next year or end of summer. These little dumps can make you thousands of extra dollars when you cash out in the bull market. So ignore the FUD. Ignore the emotions. This was bound to happen. It happens. It should have been happening. This should have been happening even more. Under $40,000 Bitcoin is at least a 50% shot at this point. Really, just depending on the ETF. But just remember that the Bitcoin halving is in 3 months, and that's going to be the next catalyst that takes us back to all-time highs. And you also have to remember, throughout history, within 6 months after the Bitcoin halving hits, so the Bitcoin halving is in April, so that's May, June, July, August, September. That means throughout history, by the end of the summer, if Bitcoin follows the 4-year cycles and follows what it did every other Bitcoin halving, by the end of the summer, we should be at minimal all-time highs, or at the all-time high for Bitcoin, meaning back to $70,000 at least, which would mean your altcoins are going to be up 10x from where they are right now. So things are looking good. I'm glad this happened. Looking for cheaper prices. Yes, Jim Cramer. He never lets us down, like I said, because he's dealing with the dumb money. The people, there's nobody beneath Jim Cramer's audience to buy, and that usually indicates a dump. So anyway, guys, like and subscribe. Talk to you later.